Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have vowed to take away your Second Amendment rights through gun bans, gun confiscation, and government regulations. Now, Joe Biden is no longer hiding his real intentions, and we need you to take action now.
Whether it's a 9mm pistol or whether it's a rifle is ridiculous. I'm continuing to push to eliminate the sale of those things. But
the Biden administration is coming after your right to own any gun. Joe Biden has already issued executive orders.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of the Daily Bullet. My name is Paul Lathrop, and I'm the Deputy Director of New Media for the Second Amendment Foundation. Boy, I forgot who I was and what my title was there for a second. Joining me today is Riding Shotgun with Charlie's Charlie Cook. Charlie, thanks for coming along today, man.
Thanks for having me, man. That is easy for you to say.
Yeah, telling you. I'm having a real problem getting words out today, and I do not know why. And also, my apologies to all the viewers. I am having a serious problem getting connected to social media today. I've been trying since, long before we went live to get Facebook to allow comments to come in, but it's I cannot get comments to load up into the broadcast software. So not only can I not put your comments on the air right now, I can't see them either on YouTube or Facebook. So you're gonna be subjected to just Charlie and me today. So
mercy. Well, hello to Charlie Chambers. Charlie, what a brand.
Yeah, I did see him earlier today commenting on some stuff.
And good evening, Patriots from John Petrolino.
Okay, well, there we go. Maybe if I switch over here. Okay, I do want to say real quickly that we're starting off Thanksgiving week, and we're going to have regular broadcasts today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm taking the weekend off. I'm because of the position I'm in, I've got the ability to take a 5-day weekend. So guess what? That's going to happen. A 4-day weekend.
Right.
4-day weekend.
Any place exciting?
No. My mother-in-law's, when we do celebrate our Thanksgiving on Saturday, we celebrate our Thanksgiving because all families, we celebrate Thanksgiving with the extended family, and because Cousin Joe wants to go to his wife's brother's house for Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving Day, we just move it to Saturday when almost everybody's got all their Thanksgiving done, so they can come do Thanksgiving on Saturday with us. So
that's nice. That's great.
A couple things before we get going with the 2A news. It is, of course, Thanksgiving week. I wanted to bring up that the Democratic Party is giving a Black Friday deal. They're offering 25% off votes for the midterm elections this week. Get your orders in now.
You have to get those to the mail, right?
Yeah, exactly. Also, we should mention that today in history, of course, today is the anniversary of the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and we do remember that. And now I got to say that we are in the presence of somebody who's been to the grassy knoll twice that we know of. Charlie, is that like returning to the scene of the crime type thing, or?
This is horrible for me to say, but I love the Kennedy assassination. I will watch every single show on the Kennedy assassination, and whatever conspiracy they're pushing, I buy. I will believe it with line and sinker. I'll watch 2 of them in a row, and I'll be like, oh, that totally makes sense. And then the next time I'm like, oh, no, that one makes sense as well. And
Okay.
there's the wildest one to me is, oh my gosh, I forget where I saw it. I'm pretty sure it was the History Channel, but there was one guy that said he had an AR, and the ARs were new at the time. They were only a couple years old, and he was in the
The
car in front.
M16 was just barely
Sorry,
out then.
the M16. Sorry about that. So he was in the car in front of Kennedy, and after the first shot, sorry, I guess really after the second shot, because the first shot was a miss. But after the second shot, he got up, turned around, they hit the gas, he fell forward, finger slipped on the trigger, and that's the shot that took off Kennedy's head, or that Kennedy got hit in the head. Excuse me. And I'm like, I totally believe that. And then I watched the video today, and I'm like, there's no way, because there's a windshield. It wouldn't have gone through the windshield. There's no way. But I'm like, that sounds like a good story. I think I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, there
And
were
then,
three shots. First was a miss. Second was through the neck. Third was the headshot.
third, yes. So the other one that I didn't know anything about this. BuzzFeed did a show on the Kennedy conspiracies, and they talked about an Umbrella Man. And I never heard of the Umbrella Man. And and this is something that went back to Joe Kennedy and Neville Chamberlain, kowtowing to Mussolini in World War I, or some crazy stuff. And so this guy, as Kennedy was driving by him, it was a sunny day. He had an umbrella. The umbrella was open, and as Kennedy went by, he raised the umbrella. And there's a theory that it was a gun umbrella, and he fired the shot. And I'm like, that seems completely crazy, until I watched a video from one of the George Floyd riots in Minneapolis last year. And there was a guy that went to a car dealer that was in all black, that had an umbrella and a hammer. And he went over, he smashed a window at a car store, and then he just walked out with the umbrella. And I'm like, oh my God, the umbrella guy is still around.
Wow.
I know, right?
Al Wilson, I'm right there with you. Al Wilson on the Facebook side says, grabbing my tinfoil hat.
It did really. That's when I said, you know what? It's a good thing I don't do drugs. You know what I mean?
New York Outcast, the conspiracy again, yeah. And Charlie Chambers, I don't know, I'm not sure who needs to hear this, but take the turkey out of the freezer now. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. We're caught up.
Comments are working. That's great.
Yes. Well, I can't get them on the air, but I can see them. So let's go ahead and let's take a gander at the news here. First story I want to take a look at is NBC News supplies YouTube a list of videos to delete and channels to demonetize. And this is by John Crump. And then, of course, YouTube does it. This I caught this morning, and I'm like, holy cow! These people. All I can say is, if you are in Second Amendment media of any variety, no matter if you are a YouTube creator, if you are a podcaster, blogger, anything. If you're in Second Amendment media and somebody from the legacy media, I call them legacy because just like a legacy port on the computer, they're still there, but nobody knows why. If you are NBC, ABC, CNN, if anybody like that wants to interview you, you write them back and not tell them just no. You tell them hell no and go pound sand.
This is what I find troubling is... First of all, I'm glad I'm not on the list. But,
yeah.
I find it troubling that somebody, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's a business, a company, a person, somebody says, hey, I don't want these people on your channel, on your outlet. And then that outlet caves and gets rid of these people. It's a bit frustrating. It's a bit frustrating, and I think it's really, I do think it's a big infringement on the First Amendment rights. I do think the cancel culture works two ways, and when it works against us, we hate it. But when we stop shopping at Dick's Sporting Goods and Dick's Sporting Goods starts to close, we feel good about it. So, you know what I mean? Like I'm having a hard time being consistent with some of this stuff.
Absolutely. Now, if the free market truly ruled, the content creators, if there was no market for the content, they wouldn't be monetized to start with because nobody would be seeing it.
Oh yeah.
So
now the channel, one of the channels was, oh my gosh, let me look it up here. One was called P80 Ralph, which obviously he works with the P80 handguns and shows people how to build lowers out of the 80% polymer lowers.
And this reporter, Mr. Eaton, has apparently, according to John Crump's story, has a deep history of going against guns in his past stories, which, again, no big shock there.
No. One of the other channels, I love the name of one of the other channels. I've never heard of them. I don't know if you have, but Putang Clan, which I think is hysterical.
I hadn't before this story came out. No, I'd never heard of the channel. So
I went yesterday. I went down to Cape Gun Works in Hyannis, Massachusetts. This past weekend, they had a gun makers event, and Rob Pinkett was there, and they were making polymer 380s, and Jared Yanis from Guns and Gadgets was there, and John Green, the director of education from the Gun Owners Action League, was there, and these guys all made their they had brought in P80s, and they made their own handguns. They got the big colors, and then Sunday morning they had a competition, and I didn't know, I couldn't make it Saturday. I was planning on going down Sunday. I didn't know when the competition was. The competition was at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I got to the Cape Gun Works at 11:15. And I missed everything. And there was a guy that was there. His name was Matt, and he's new to me. He is the 2A3D printer, and he does a lot of polymer 380 stuff. And he had a Putang Clan hat, and I'm like, dude, that's pretty cool. So I think they're going to be somebody we should be checking out and researching.
There you go.
See the hat one day, see them pop up in a story the next day.
Well, I would suggest that if they haven't already, they need to be moving to another platform outside of YouTube, because
yeah, they should be on Gunstreamer, and they should be on Full 30 as well.
Yeah. New York Outcast, and this may be to a previous comment, but he just commented, my channel isn't about money, but they may offer trying to get me to quit. Well, you know, if they offer you $250,000 to stop broadcasting, dude, you got to consider that.
Right. Money does talk, doesn't it?
Exactly. Let's go on to our next story here. Rittenhouse verdict, exactly what the progressives wanted. This is by our sleepy friend, and I'm being facetious when I say that, John Petrolino. Charlie, you sent this link along to me, but yeah, this could have been, because this gives them a whipping boy for the midterms.
Oh my God, absolutely! It's the whole self-defense is a white privilege and all this sort of stuff. I did hear about I want to say it was someone in Illinois that made a comment, like a politician in Illinois, that made a comment about the incident the incident at the church parade. Sorry, at the Christmas parade. Excuse me.
Oh.
At the Christmas parade for the weekend. And this politician came out and said, "Oh, it's nothing to worry about. It was self-defense."
Yeah.
First of all, it tells you they're cold and insensitive.
Yes.
And second of all, it tells you they have no idea what they're talking about. None.
You know, and the 72 hours still is in effect. However, It is all that news story is all over the place, and it's all over the legacy media that they have a suspect. In keeping with my Rules for Polite Society podcast, I will never, ever, ever broadcast the name of a killer. Okay,
Right.
so
Yeah.
do not expect that here. But they do have a suspect. He is in custody. They do have a person of interest. What the definition is, but what the difference is between a person of interest and a suspect, I'm not sure. But they've got somebody in custody for this. And it turns out that from what I was reading earlier off a Fox News affiliate, so it's a fairly reliable source, this person has felony crimes going back to 1999, and on Friday posted a $1,000 bond on another felony charge.
Yeah, and when he ran over these people, he was leaving another crime that he just committed.
You know,
So, go.
and he was just turning his life around.
Right. Right. It's, they're going to staying with the Rittenhouse theme, the anti-gun folks, legacy media, whatever you'd like to call them. They're going to tell us that justice was not served with the Rittenhouse case, and tell us that the justice system is working just fine to let this other person out and about. But if the justice system doesn't work for one person, it's got to not work for the other person too, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not right that this guy should have been out on bond, and he should have gotten out of just committed another crime. Like, he's obviously not an upstanding citizen, and this is not good.
Not at all.
And to the gun folks, it shows us that was something that we've been saying for I don't know, ever. That you can take guns away from people, you can put the restrictions, you can do all that sort of stuff. There are still evil people out there that will still do evil things. And if somebody wants to harm other people and kill other people, they will find a way.
Couple comments I wish I could put these on screen, but I just can't. Al Wilson said he was on his way to college. Okay. Yeah. And Charlie Chambers commented that Rittenhouse is on Tucker tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll still be broadcasting. When we wrap up here in about 15 minutes, then I got to set everything up for Polite Society podcast, which we go live with at 6 Central, 7 Eastern. So while he's on the air with Tucker, I'm going to be broadcasting. I won't be able to catch it.
Staying with Rittenhouse, where are you on him turning around and suing all of the people, including our current president, who said he was a white supremacist?
I'm all for it, 100%. They had there was no basis. I can't. If I, for example, if I were to let me find this here quick. If I were to put on the screen that Charlie Chambers has more stalkers than a bad Hollywood B film, and I don't have proof of that, Charlie can then sue me, and he would have because I have no proof of that. So
screenshot it. Hold on. Oh, I couldn't get my phone up in time.
Oh, Dodd got it. Anyway,
I have no.
So anyway, no, this is my take on that. I would, because of what they put him through, I would strongly encourage it. And let's face it, the guy's never going to have a normal life, at least not for the next 10 to 15 years. So should he be compensated for that? Abso-frigging-lutely. I would. If I were a advisor to him, and I'm not, I would encourage it.
There is this isn't gun related, but there is an interesting series on Netflix. I watched a couple episodes a few months ago. It's called Death by Media, and it's interesting because when stories like this get out, they're tried in the court of the media. They're tried in the public eye before they're tried in court. And by the time they get to court, often this decision's already been made. And it's kind of an interesting show. They had some interesting thing where they brought somebody onto the Jenny Jones show, and it was they brought a guy onto the Jenny Jones show, and he was there with his a male friend and a female friend, and it was like, hey, somebody likes you, and come find out who it is. And he gets on the show and finds out that it's the guy, not the gal, that's interested in him. And he lost his cool and ended up going and killing this man that was homosexual that was interested in him. And then I think he ended up shooting himself a couple days after the incident happened. But it kind of an interesting series. But yeah, these people are going to be guilty by all of the crap that goes out on media as well as social media.
Yeah. I want to go off on a couple different directions here in the 10 minutes we have left. Where I just lost the comment when I flipped between Facebook and YouTube. But New York Outcast going back to what we were talking about a little earlier, said, might be time they ban all Fords after the recent vehicle violence. Not only that, man, I seen one very short clip of the Ford Escape just zooming by. Isn't it time we put? I mean, I think Massachusetts led the way here. Massachusetts has a magazine limit for all the how many rounds their guns can handle. Isn't it time we put a 10-mile-an-hour governor on all cars, because that way people can outrun them? It's time for who needs a car that goes more than 10 miles an hour anyway? Because if you have a 10-mile-an-hour limit, people can still outrun them.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But no one does the speed limit in Massachusetts anyway. The people who do the speed limit, they're the ones that get honked at and flipped off when you drive by them. You're going 15 miles an hour faster than them. And it's like that meme of Kermit where you turn and look to see if they're as stupid as they really drive.
And let me guess, that includes the police officers are like, why the hell are you going so slow?
Right?
Yeah. You're going to get pulled over for impeding. And John says the Ahmaud Arbery trial is still going on. Yeah, I haven't been able to follow that one as closely as I followed some other stuff. I'm getting updates here and there, but I don't have any real solid opinions on that one. Charlie, have you been following that one any closer than I have?
I haven't. I do think it's apples and oranges compared to the Rittenhouse case.
Yes.
I do hear that it was they had closing arguments today, and they're looking for a decision. Obviously, probably sometime this week.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's do this because I am very handicapped because a lot of the show is off your comments, and if I don't get them just popped up for me by my software and nicely sorted, it's a little tough for me. We're going to keep this one a little short because Charlie and I have you back in 30 minutes to do Polite Society podcast. So I think we're going to go ahead and close this one down a little bit early, but we got one more story we're going to do as we go out, and this is by our buddy Tom Knighton, who, by the way, is going to be on the Polite Society podcast in about 30 minutes. Teachers fail to see beyond their own anti-gun bias. Charlie, this one, Tom quite adroitly brings up that teachers associate with teachers and they seem to form their own little cliques, and they cannot possibly see why anybody would ever want to be armed in a school, and yet apparently they've never heard of Sandy Hook. Apparently they never heard of any school shootings anywhere.
Right, Parkland or Columbine, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
It's completely nuts. It's the whole, you're kind of a culmination of the 5 people you hang out with the most, and if the 5 people you hang out with most are anti-gun folks, you're probably going to be anti-gun as well.
You know, it's just like, and he even brings it up here. I'm trying to find the quote from the story, and trying to do that under a time pressure as you're on the air is almost impossible. But it's the quote from, I can't believe Nixon won. I don't know anybody that voted for him.
That was on Reagan.
Yeah.
I forget the lady's name, but she said, I can't believe Reagan won. Nobody I know voted for him.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you live in an echo chamber. So, yeah, exactly. But, yeah, I think we're going to, yeah, Larry Benson. Was the car full auto and he gunned it?
Oh!
Wow.
All right, I have a list on my phone of terms that we use that are gun related, and I'm going to put it, gunning the gas on the car.
Mm-hmm.
That's going on the list.
All right. All right. Well, let's. Spartan 6 of Massachusetts played that game and lost Smith & Wesson in their state as a result. And then he says their loss is Tennessee's gain. Good for Tennessee.
Absolutely. The ridiculousness of the Massachusetts is that in 1994 we had the federal assault weapon ban. In 1998, I hate saying this, Mitt Romney was the one that permanently adopted the federal assault weapon ban in Massachusetts. And he's also the guy that gave us Obamacare, which they were trying to pass off as Romney Care for a while.
Yeah, he's a Republican.
Right.
All right, folks, we are going to shut it down here. We're a lot closer to 5:30 than I thought we'd get. Thank you for watching. Come join us tomorrow and Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Time for more Daily Bullet. And come join us in 30 minutes for the Polite Society podcast. Thanks for watching, everybody.